How we doing, people? Hope you are well. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to our first Arsenal in Europe show. We thought we'd do this now, seeing as Arsenal are back, albeit only in the Europa League, but I thought we'd do some European action. First of all, big up to all of you in the chat, and more importantly, big up to our new member, Rich EB. If you do want to become a YouTube member, then please do smash the join button in the description and follow the instructions, and you become a member of League Judges TV and join our family. You're going to be getting a lot more content if you do that. Of course, if you don't want to do that, absolutely fine. You just watch me and Lee as normal on League Judges TV. Lee, how the devil are you, sir?
Oh, yeah, all good, all good. Busy day. I've had a bit of a nightmare today because the bloody train strike. These train strikes are doing my head in, by the way, So I went to my normal station, just think because I looked on the app to see the trains were there, all going, or so it said. Like when I got there, station closed, had to make another dash to another station, but done it in the end. But my God, on the way home, it was slow train. So, but eventually I'm here and ready to rock and roll,
Good stuff, man.
I bet Saka doesn't have to ever worry about the trains now if it's true what's coming out, mate. I think.
I hope it is true, man. I really do, and that's where we're going to start.
Always, never in doubt.
No, I agree. And I've seen today a lot of reports, a lot of sources saying that it's fairly close, looking at towards £200,000 a week, Bukayo Saka 5-year deal. Not only is this excitingly, but I don't feel personally like this was ever in doubt for the pure reason that I believe, one, he's happy, two, he's a Haaland boy, and three, at the moment, things are looking really well. The things are looking on the up, let's be honest, at the moment in terms of the way we're playing and the people around him. And I think it's really important. And something that KC said to me ages ago when I first met him was, when you leave Arsenal, it ain't always the same. And I think a lot of people that have been in and around Bukayo Saka's ear at the moment, people like Jack Wilshere, for example, have probably passed that message on, so to speak. And I believe personally, although Bukayo Saka could go to Manchester City and win stuff, I do feel like that's probably the only place that would be tempting him at the moment when he looks in and around what's happening in the Premier League. And I know that we have to sometimes look past 8 games, but football's a funny game, man. It's always about the then and now, isn't it? It's always about who's looking good right now. And for me, Bukayo Saka looks happy, and I think this will be a great bit of business, mate.
Yeah, and the fourth one is his family don't sit next to me no more, so they've moved to a box. When you go to a box, you
get a contract.
Yeah, I like, it happened with Xhaka, and it's happened with Saka. I just want to say that these players sitting next to me, I've inspired them. I tell you, Saka was in the dumps and I've said to him, keep your head up, mate. You know what I mean? Like,
look at him now.
Look at him now, So the box life seems to be working for him and his family, and I'm pretty sure it will do with Saka. And the other point, really, and more importantly, why would you want to leave at this moment in time? The place is absolutely rocking at the moment, massive club, and I'm pretty sure that Jesus will be saying a few things in the dressing room about Man City and what it's like. All of a sudden he's at the best club. He's gone to a bigger club, Jesus, and he's probably telling Saka that exactly that. Yeah, fantastic. Pep's great, the money's great, and everything but it ain't like this club. It never will be. Never will be Arsenal's a massive football club, and I'm pretty sure that we get this one over the line. I think Saliba will be next. Again, why would he want to leave Arsenal at this moment in time? And I'm pretty sure Martinelli. Well, he's actually said Martinelli that he's happy to stay for as long as the club want him. So I think that they'd be done. But listen, it's also a good thing for people coming through is that that if you do the business, you'll get rewarded, and that's what it's all about, Dan. So I think it's a great thing, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow to seeing a few of the next generation coming through, i.e. Marquinhos, So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's game because of that. Hopefully there'll be a what's the young boy's name that was 15? I wonder if he'd be in the squad.
And Waneri, yeah.
I wonder if he'd be in the squad, So that'd be interesting to see. So, but listen, Saka. I'm going to say this now. I look back. I've watched the game back 3 or 4 times, and on BT you get extended highlights. You know what I mean? And I've watched that quite.
He played well, Saka.
He played very, very well Saturday. Better than what I thought he was as it happens. He was really, really prominent in all our stuff. If you look at the first goal, it's because he takes 2 players away from him. It allows Ben White to put the ball to Partey, space, bang, goal. So, yeah, and I
And
thought
the Lloris mistake was through Saka.
through his shot. So, yeah, I thought he was brilliant on the day, So, just also, Dan would have found, I think it's a big point as well. Looking at when teams play deep against us, so you can't get in behind them. You need someone that's going to be a little bit tricky, like do things there, and that's what he does. He pulls players and defenders out of position, And I'm a massive fan of his. Massive.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, and I think it's great news. As far as I'm concerned, when you talk about Arsenal, he's the first player that everyone talks about. Now, that's massive pressure, Lee, when I look at that. I think he's carried us for 2 years. I really do. I think he's been the best player. I think he's the jewel in the crown. And when you look at what he's getting a week now, I think he's deserved. I don't care about this. A lot of people do. And I wanted to ask you this genuinely. When Aubameyang and Ozil got their big contracts, I personally didn't care, right? Because I'm not an Arsenal accountant. I couldn't give a damn what they're on, right? I care when they don't put in the performances, but I don't care how much they're on a week. When you have the best players in your club, you have to put them on wages to keep them happy. And if that means Saka deserves 180, 190, 250, 300, I want Saka to stay. So for the sake of Arsenal scrimping and saving £14 million a year, £15 million a year, £4 million a year, I'd rather spend that money and keep Saka, because I do believe this guy's got a massive ceiling. Now, I don't know where he can hit the heights of. I don't know if it's going to be Raheem Sterling. I don't know if it's going to be Messi. I don't know if it's going to be Freddie Ljungberg. I have no idea. But when I look at what he's got potentially, it could be anything they've got plus more. And I think that when you look at what Bukayo Saka has brought to Arsenal since he's been given his chance by Unai Emery, he has literally got better and better and better, Lee. And I know this season people are saying, oh, he hasn't really got into it. But actually, when you look at the assists and the creativity and the way that he has been playing, he ain't been far off, mate. It hasn't been a shocking start to the season for Saka. So for me, this is a massively important piece of news. But I wanted to ask you about the wages thing. Do you have a problem with that?
No, I don't care. If you're the best player, you got to be we had this problem with Ashley Cole. If you remember right with Ashley Cole, he used to go away to England and find out that Wayne Bridge was on more money than him. He's better than Wayne Bridge. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not being horrible. If you're in at work, I just and we're a couple of builders, a couple of bricklayers, and you're laying 50 bricks more than me a day, and I'm getting more money. You ain't going to be happy with that, Dan. You know what I mean? It's just simple logic. That these boys go away to England and they talk. Oh, how much you getting at so-and-so? What you getting here? What you getting there? And also, these managers turn around to say, like someone like Jack Grealish, who he's very, very friendly with, or Foden, and just go have a little shit, word in his shell, like saying, like, you'd be on 300k if 300k if you come here or whatever, Listen, you've got to somewhere along the line. You have to compete with these teams. Now, we might not be able to compete in transfer budgets with these guys, but we can bring our own players through. And if we're bringing players like Saka through and not spending a transfer fee of 30, 40, 50 million, then, which we if you really look at it, if Saka weren't about and never made it at Arsenal, we'd have to get a 50, 60 million pound player to do what he's doing at this moment in time. So we're saving money. So we're going to have to give these kids what they deserve. They're coming through, they're giving up their, young careers at Arsenal. And they need to be rewarded for it, as far as I'm concerned, because listen, Martinelli is potentially going to be one of the best left-sided players in Europe. You know what I mean? If he carries on the way he is. Saka the same. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus has come to Manchester from Manchester City. He's not on peanuts, is he? He's got big money. So these young kids deserve it as well. And I'm happy and delighted that he is. I don't care one way overall about the wage thing. That's immaterial to me.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And for me, it's so important. And I wanted to ask you about the Saliba and Martinelli situation there. Likewise, contracts in 2024. The difference with Martinelli, I believe, is that he's got an option to sign, whereas Saliba obviously hasn't.
Yeah, there's an
I think
option either way, like, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, I think Martinelli will sign. I really do.
yeah, and
Saliba is the question mark, but at the moment things are looking great for this kid. The only reason he's the question mark for me over Saka and Martinelli is because he's not really had anything but 8 games at Arsenal. And is he going to just decide after this season, where are Arsenal? I fancy Real Madrid or PSG. If we go trophyless and we mess our season up, that's my only concern with Saliba, is that he might not sign now. He might wait a bit longer. Whereas I think with Saka and Martinelli, I think they'll sign soon. What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I get that. I think that there must have been conversations going on with Saliba, what they're going to do and whatever, like, you know. And I think now he's coming. It's been perfectly timed. It's been a fantastic bit of business. If he signs a new contract now, what a bit of business that's been, like, you know. And don't forget when he first signed for Arsenal, it was lots of clubs after him, Dan, but he chose Arsenal. So why, when you finally break into the team and you're being lauded like you are, I don't know if you've seen the clip when he walks off and Arteta's in a tunnel and all that. You know, you can't make that up. That's sort of genuine things. I think you know, he'd be mad not to sign, like, you know. And I think that we've got 3 fantastic gems there. And this is the greatest thing about Arsenal now. Like 4 or 5 years ago, Dan, we had no assets whatsoever. But if they were to sign long-term deals, in 3, we've got assets there over £400 million worth of talent in 3 players. And you've got Smith Rowe as well. So we've got some really, really exciting young players. So, it's great watching them develop and all that. Like, you know, Martinelli now is the real deal now, which we all thought that he would be. And Saliba, by the way, you know, if he's not now, he's going to be the best central defender in Europe in a minute. I don't think there's anybody better than him at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the league and in Europe, you won't get a better defender. You certainly won't get one that's 21 years old. That's for sure. I can't name you one in the world at the moment who's 21 years old that's better than him. So for me, I think we've got somebody special. With Martinelli, I think sometimes people question his end products. I think he's answered some of those critics this season. He certainly, at the second half against Tottenham, for me, was the best player on the pitch in that half. I thought everything he did was sensational. And I know me and you are a big fan of this kid, and I know he's your favourite player, and he's one of mine. And I think that what we probably were not seeing in those couple of years is Arteta just did, for whatever reason, didn't fancy him, didn't think he was ready, preferred the Smith Rowes and Pepes and Sakas of this world over him. And I think that was becoming frustrating. But what we're seeing now is, yeah, we can't complain. This guy's looking really good, man. Really, really good. So I hope the 3 of them sign. I hope the 3 of them stay. And I hope the 3 of them stay not just for a couple of years, but for a long, long time, because they're our future, mate. And if we're not going to be looking at those as our future, then this project or process hasn't worked out for me. So those 3 have to stay, man. It's vital. But let's move on to the European game, mate. Tomorrow night, obviously, we have our Europa League game. It's mad because most people have played quite a lot of their games. We've only played one team because obviously our other game was cancelled. So this one's going to be important. I think it's really important that we win our home games in this league. I think every single European team can say in the Champions League or Europa League or now the Europa Conference League that in your group stages, if you win your 3 home games and then you win at least 1 more away or take at least a draw away from one of your away games, you're pretty much through.
You're virtually
so
there,
that's what we've got to be looking at. Now, for me, we've got to be looking at every single game winning. But when you look at where we have to be in terms of our minimum, our home games have to be 3 points, Lee. So I don't know much about this team, if I'm honest with you. I've not really heard much about them. A lot of people are saying that they've done well of late, and fair play to them. That's why they're in this competition, coming from nowhere to this. But when I look at this competition, this game, I don't really see anything but 3 points for Arsenal. What's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think that we've got to get the 3 points. It'd be interesting to see what they do, because this game's in between like Tottenham and Liverpool, 2 massive games. So I think changes have been made. And this is a real thing for the players. If the changes are made, if Eddie goes up front and Marquinhos plays and Vieira plays and Rob Holding plays and Tomiyasu plays, Lokonga, if all these guys are playing and you can't get the job done against Bodø, then you've got to be saying, right, hold on a minute, So I think it's a real test for all these guys to come in. I know it's difficult to bring in a mix and match side and all that, but that's the way it is, And I think that all these players must be chomping at the bit to have a game in front of the Emirates, Dan. You know what I mean? Like watching it on the bench and warming up and seeing that atmosphere and thinking, oh, I want a bit of that, so I better start playing well in these games here. I think the atmosphere will be just as good tomorrow as it has been at the Emirates all season. So I think it's becoming a really, really good thing there. As you know, so I'm really, really looking for. I am absolutely can't wait till tomorrow to come down. You know, do you know a few times around, like, do you know a couple of years ago? No, this is bad, Dan. When we've probably said it, I'm not bothered if we don't make Champions League, any Europa League anyway. You know, rather have a season out of it and all that. Like, but now that's you know, you want Arsenal to play more and more
Yeah, but do you know
games.
why that was, Lee? Do you know why that was? And I said that. I said, do you know what? I'll take a season out of Europa League because that will get us Champions League. When we didn't get Champions League, I'm bloody get me back in it then, because if we can't get it without it, I want to be playing it. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, but there were a couple of times when you just feel, oh, you know, I mean, weren't a great game to go with, and half empty stadium, and you know, it wasn't quite well. I honestly think tomorrow, I bet it's full tomorrow. Like, you know, and that's because the team's buzzing, and really, I know that it's a little bit cheaper the tickets tomorrow, but certain people going tomorrow know that probably like the big stars are not going to be playing, but they still want to be going and watching the Arsenal, and that's what's it all about. Like, it's fantastic at the moment. Really looking forward to the game, and but we've still got a job to do, Dan. We've still got to win that game.
Yeah, we have to win it, man. And let's talk about the team news. Like, for me, I think we can afford to go with a complete change. Now, we can't make 11 changes because we don't have the squad depth, but we will, I think, in my opinion, make at least 9, maybe even 10 changes for this one. And the reason I say that is, like you've said previously, it's in between Tottenham and Liverpool. Now, I think Turner's going to definitely play in goal because it looks to me as if he's the second choice goalkeeper.
That's what
my back four is probably going to be Tomiyasu at right back and Ciani at left back. And I think the two centre backs, he's got a decision to make. Rob Holding will play. Yeah, and it's who plays next to him for me. I don't know if he'll go. I've gone, believe it or not, for Ben White.
I've gone Ben White as well.
But last time he played Gabriel alongside him. Yeah. So it could be interesting in that position. I don't think he'll play Saliba. I think he'll rest him. But I think Ben White or Gabriel will be one of those. And then in midfield, I've played Lokonga, Vieira, and Xhaka. Because I think Xhaka is the only one that is probably going to get a place in there. So then I've got a front three of Marquinhos, Eddie, and Reece Nelson.
I've got one change different to you.
Go on.
I've put in Zinchenko into midfield.
Wow, good shout, you know.
Right, and the reason I've done that is because, and that's why I've gone for better. But I think it'll either be Ben White or Gabriel. The reason for them two is that they weren't on international duty, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I think so. Like, give you know, the extra game. I think it'll also be good to give Ben White a go on central defence just to get him back in there. So that's what I would do. And I think that Zinchenko just come back from injury as well. I think that he could come in there and play that role. I don't know if he will, but that's what I would do if I was manager. I'd play him in there.
It's a good shout, man.
Tierney
he always
plays.
He always plays, doesn't he? He always plays Granit Xhaka every game, man. I just think he'll go with Xhaka.
You know, Granit's just come back from 2 games at Switzerland. Played him 90 minutes. He's also played 90 minutes against Spurs. You know, I would like to have a fresh 11 going into that game against Liverpool. Like, you know, and it means that Ben White may have to play another game, but like he's just had come back from a week off. So was Zinchenko, so I don't think it's there, like, you know. So someone's saying that Zinchenko didn't train today, so he might not be fit. So if he's not training and he's not 100% fit, then let's not worry about it. But it's starting to be a bit of a worry that he's not being fit all the time. So we'll have to wait and see. So maybe maybe Granit will have to play. But why not play one of the kids in there? You know what I mean? You know, who's not had a chance from midfield. There's been a few of them on the bench. Why not give one of them a go in there? Keep Granit in the middle. Anyway, it's a little bit tough on Lokonga because, you know, he needs someone. He'd prefer somebody in there. He may even play Partey just to give him a little bit more minutes, but for me, I'd rather him just be training at this moment in time, training, playing once a week, building himself up. But that's my
Yeah.
motto on it. But
Yeah, man.
if
Listen, I think that there's definitely some options for Mikel Arteta. What I will say is, I don't want to pay like 17, 18-year-old kids. I'd rather keep our B team there because I believe our B team should be good enough at this
yeah,
stage in the Europa League to get through it. I don't think it will in the later stages, but certainly for this stage. There was a question from Luke, which was a really good one, actually, in relation to why don't we just play our players now and our strongest team, win the group after 4 games and then play our squad players. The reason I disagree with that right now is because it's in between Spurs and Liverpool. If it
that is
wasn't, I'd
totally
probably
the only
say,
reason.
yeah, I'd probably agree with Luke. If it was, and if listen, if it's the latter stages, I don't want to be seeing these guys playing. No chance. But my question to you, Lee, is: are you confident going into this game with that 11? If it's similar to what we expect it to be,
Well, not as confident as I would be if we had the first team play. If we had the big boys out there, I wouldn't be. But listen, we're on a great run in the league at the moment. I don't think that should be, people turning around and saying, well, we're not going to win the league and everything like that. But what we are doing, if we can beat Liverpool tomorrow, Sunday, we go 14 points clear of them. 14 points. And their game in hand is Chelsea away. Now, when you think about it, do you know the following week we play Leeds away? Who are Liverpool and Man City playing? They're playing each other. So the league's
wow,
still very, very important. And I think that let's try and make sure we can bang home an advantage and get into that top 4. That will take a lot of pressure off going into the latter stages of a Europa League, if the case may be. And even the league, you just keep winning your games down. If we can just win our next couple of games, if we could actually beat Liverpool and beat Leeds, we could be going into the end of October like top of the, still top of the league. And if we can get to the end before the World Cup, top of the league still, that's a fantastic start for us. You know what I mean, and not to be dismissed. So. I think that we can still get through with these. But Eddie's been playing really, really well. Deserves a shout. Deserves to play in this game. I don't care what anybody says. Mark can't get his name right. Marquinhos. What's his name?
Marquinhos.
Marquinhos. Bloody art of that. I mean, a few beers.
I believe it is anyway. Marquinhos. I think people have told me to say it as Marquinhos. Marquis, as in a door key. Marquinhos. That's what I believe. I might have got it wrong, though. Let me know in the chat.
Let's know in the chat. Marquinhos. I don't care about. I was excited when I see him the other week. Like I want to see him again.
So was I, mate.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so I want to see him again.
Looks
like,
really good.
And I think that Reece Nelson is on borrowed time at Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, he's not for me, man.
Not for his own fault. Like you know what I mean? Like Marquinhos. Oh, well, thank you, Dave. That's it. Like, Leah's found a new player, Marquinhos. There we go. But I think it's not through injuries and whatever. But this is the time now. Come on, you need to shine. You need to perform, and say that you got an Arsenal future. Because when he first come into the scene, then he was quality. Really looked like he was going to go on. Go on and do really, really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him hopefully get some sort of minutes tomorrow as well.
Listen, he's the one that excited me the most. He excited me more than Fabio Vieira. It wasn't his pace and his dribbling that actually surprisingly didn't fill me with a lot of confidence, although it was very good. It was his crossing, mate. His crossing ability was exceptional against Zurich. So I'm really excited to see what he can do tomorrow night. And I think he's a player that will definitely start. And I think if out of all of the players, Lee, I had to pick one that surprise package, it would be him because I don't know much about him. I think we're going to see a lot more of him than people expect. A lot of people thought he would go on loan because when we signed him, a lot of people said, yeah, he'll go on loan. I feel like we'll see a lot of him in the squad. And I think that it was a player that, although he hasn't been in and around the Premier League squad so much, he's a player that I think will be used for the Europa League games. And if he impresses and continues to, we might start to see him coming off the bench a bit more because I still feel like with the 5 subs, we've only really got 2 or 3 that excite us. And he could be one that could change that. When everyone's fit, Vieira, Smith Rowe, obviously Eddie comes on a lot, but doesn't really excite. Do you know what I mean? Don't go, oh, wow, Eddie coming on. Get Jesus off quick. Eddie's coming on. You don't do that. But you do with Vieira, Smith Rowe, and hopefully this Marquinhos can come on and we can get there a player that's probably been a surprise package because I didn't know much about him. So that's the one I'm looking forward to most tomorrow night, mate. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Totally agree.
100. Listen, man, I want to talk to you a little bit about the score prediction. It'll be interesting tomorrow night because I don't know much about this team, mate. So
No,
I don't know.
I'm with you on this. I've gone blind on this one, like so.
Yeah,
I've
it's
gone.
an interest. Go on, mate.
Well, I've gone 4-0, but I'm very, very. You know what I mean? Like, I know, probably like got it completely wrong. It'd be a tight affair, but I don't really know what the too much about them, if I'll be honest. But I just think that if we hit the form that we're doing, and I just got a feeling that Eddie's going to have a point to prove tomorrow. Like, I really do, and I think you're banging a couple of goals. So there are a little few in the chat saying 4-0 as well, so I don't feel so bad now.
Nah, don't feel so bad, man. Be comfortable. I'm going to go 3-0. I don't think it was a crazy prediction when you said that. I thought 3-0 because I just feel that we still have quality. If we were coming up against a team latter stages of the Europa League, playing that team, I'd worry. Yeah. If we were playing that team against someone that's dropped down from the Champions League, I wouldn't be going 3-0 with that team. But I just think against Bodø and Glimt, I think we'll be fine. And I do believe that although they're good attacking wise and they've definitely deserved to be in there with a shout for this group stages, I do think our quality will overshine. What will be interesting is who we put on the bench. What I don't want to see is people I've never heard of. Yeah.
No,
I
all the
would
big
like to
boys on the
see.
bench.
We've got to have the big boys on the bench so that if we think, wow, these have really come on to us here and we're struggling to score an extra goal, then we can bring on Jesus, Saka, Martinelli, whatever it be. And then I think we'll kill them off. So that's what I'd like to see. What I don't want to see is people like Dozier Dubry and all these people coming on the bench again. I'm like, what are these guys? So that if we are 1-1 and we've got 20 minutes to go, we've literally got no one to bring on other than a kid. So that's what I don't want. So let's see what happens. Guys,
Just
go on,
one thing
Lee.
that like a few people saying, don't underestimate them. We're not underestimating. We don't know what we got. This could be a real tough game. This is where the people powers that be at Arsenal have had them watched and things like that. I've not watched them. I've not actually watched when they play because obviously they're playing the same time as us. Yeah, people saying that Roma lost to them. So what?
Beat
Like,
Roma last season. Yeah.
Yeah. So what? Like, you know what I mean? We'll see. Like, I'm backing the boys. I'm backing Arsenal. That's all I'm saying at this moment in time.
Fair play, man. Listen, Lee, always a pleasure. Guys, thank you for listening. Smash a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to become a member, all you need to do is click on the link below, which Dave's just put up there kindly, and follow the instructions to become a member. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully, we'll get the 3 points that we need and we'll be able to look forward to Liverpool. We will be back for regular content in the next couple of days after the result at Bodø and Glimt. And then we'll look forward to Liverpool. Guys, take it easy. Smash a like on your way out, and we will see you next time. Take care and up the Arsenal.
Can't you, Gunners?